everybody, and welcome back to the JW Merritt here in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, as we are still at SMACNA's annual convention. I have the pleasure and honor to be joined by two individuals with a pretty impressive mission they've got going on. I have Angie Simon and Rick Hermanson joining me. Both of you, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, Seth, for having us.
Here.
Yeah, we appreciate
And
it.
we're here to talk about one thing that I've grown to be more knowledgeable about in my time at SMACNA, and it's year 3 of this. It's the Heavy Metal Summer Experience.
Yeah.
For those who aren't really super familiar with the Heavy Metal Summer Experience, can you just give us a quick, brief history on the program?
I can handle that. I'll
Perfect.
bounce it to you next. But so Heavy Metal Summer Experience kind of was an idea that during the pandemic I had while I was national president, in that I was talking to my partner and we said, hey, how can we get kids more interested in the trades? And so I said, well, we could throw a summer camp in our shop with the underserved area, which we were right next to, East Palo Alto. And he said, yeah, that sounds great, but I don't have the time. And I said, well, I'll make the time. So we put a business plan together and I proposed it. My partners, to their credit, said, let's do it. So we decided to do that. And I mentioned it on our SMACNA National EDGE conference, which was our virtual conference in 2020. Then we did not meet in person. Mm-hmm. And on a roundtable about workforce development. And I immediately got a call from my friend Rick Hermanson, who we're in a peer group together, because he said, can I do it with you too? Which was awesome.
This has been a passion of mine for 30 years. I've always been interested in educating and being a part of developing the workforce in our area, Puget Sound area. Been on JTCs and I was just been disappointed not disappointed. All the kids get pushed to college, mm-hmm. and so they're really not even getting the opportunity to know what a great industry we have. And so to me, this was an opportunity. When I heard this I was just ready to light up when I heard that Angie was going to do this. So this was, to me, there was a natural opportunity, and I was so thankful that Angie started it. And this is just important to our industry, to our communities, to our kids.
So Hermanson and Western Allied then, at that point, worked together via Zoom, always, of course, to put together the projects we were going to work on, the schedule we were going to do, what kind of forms do we need, who we're going to get, how we're going to get the kids. So we did all that before the camp. And then in the summer of 2021, we had our first 2 camps. And Western Allied had 16 kids, and Hermanson had 12. So we had 28 kids altogether. And they were such a successful camp.
Yeah.
And then we afterwards said, we got to share this vision. So we picked a name during the course of this, and we called it Heavy Metal Summer Experience. Rick's company gave us some really great marketing ideas, and they made our logo and everything else. We wrote a playbook at the end of the camp and worked together, 2 contractors writing a playbook, trying to make it the easy button to have other contractors run a camp. So then I continued to start to sell it across the nation when I started to get to travel. And next summer we had 11 camps across the United States and about 125 kids. And this past summer we had 21 camps and about 325 kids.
Yeah, I was at a camp, so it's crazy kind of to understand like a good sign of how much it's grown. I attended the camp in Boston at Canistero back in 2022, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is huge. It's great. It's a wonderful program. Kids just getting their hands deep into it. And then I went to a camp this kind of the summer spring over in Kansas City, and it was almost twice the size.
Yes.
And the neatest thing from that was, and I think one of the cool things about it is the corporate buy-in you have in from a lot of our partners on that program, and just kind of go on how we kind of built that partnership up with it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we wouldn't be where we're at without our partners. Milwaukee Tool, DeWalt have been amazing partners for us because they have given us tool bags for every student that we've had that's graduated. So, I mean, this past year we had 325 kids graduate. So we had we got almost 400 tool bags, 200 each from those 2 manufacturers. We've also had huge, support from Procore, Mestec, Train. We have a bunch of other supporters as well. But I mean, we buy the kids Red Wing boots at the beginning of the camp, so they get their own set of boots, and they own those. They get medals when they graduate. They get PPE and the tools. Our partnership with SMACNA has been amazing because SMACNA has done so much to help us with the PR side, made many videos for us, and they've been wonderful. And they're participating. Now, we've also had many of the SMACNA chapter execs actually run the camps as well and help, as well as we've had a SMACNA chapter exec and an MCA chapter exec team together to run run a camp. So it's starting to really take off, and we're seeing the enthusiasm and that the kids have. The graduation's a fun experience.
It's fantastic. You watch these kids, you can act in the first day they're a little nervous, and then once some of our craft people come in and start talking about the industry, I mean, the eyes just light up. It's like, wow. I mean, it's like, really? I mean, it's all of a sudden they lean in, they're engaged. You actually watch them kind of transformed into these just very excited young people.
And not only that, just the feedback you get from the parents, especially, because I think their eyes are opened. Because, like you said, like definitely my generation's like college. There was not really a plan B out there. Everyone was supposed to go to college. Not everybody wants to go to college. There's a lot of people, and especially with the benefits you get from a career in our industry, not that far along. The benefits and the pay are more than competitive, and it's really important to get that message out there.
So one of the messages I think is really important is this industry, the building trades industry, will provide every person every career opportunity they could ever imagine as far as their passion will take them. You know, I started out sweeping floors. I mean, now I'm a CEO of a large corporation. It will take you as far as you want to go. And so I encourage every kid, you might start out as a sheet metal worker or a plumber or a fitter or electrician or whatever it is, but you can move into other positions. There's project management, there's engineering, there's estimating, all kinds of stuff. So technology, we're using technology like never done before. And there's kids that lean into that. So the options are incredible.
And that's the story we need to get out to the kids and the parents about the technology and how things have changed.
Yeah.
Parents need to understand this too. In fact, there are some of our challenge is the parents push them to college as well. So, but I think once they understand the opportunities the kids have in our industry, didn't know that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And going back to the technology piece, one of the neatest things I saw in the Kansas City camp was the virtual welding trainer.
Yep.
And the kids were just like mind blown. And the instructor at the JATC was just having a great time with it, and just it was kind of it made it competitive. Like everybody's trying to match the score, what the best job they could do. That's also another important part is how much buy-in there has been at labor. Because when I was at the JATC in Kansas City, the staff there was just so enthusiastic about this. They were engaged. They were showing the kids the ropes because they knew that this is an investment on their end too.
Yeah. Well, SMART has been a huge partner. We're very on board with this in the beginning, even giving me a chance to speak at their leadership conference back 2 years ago in front of all their business managers and recruiting folks. And they regularly are helping us and talking about our camps. And I mean, because we're doing together. I mean, we as contractors and the union should be working together to make the future of our industry. Yeah. And to do that, we need people in our industry. So it's not their job to find our manpower or workforce. It's not our job to do it. It's our job together as partners to do it. So SMART has been huge on that, and we appreciate that partnership with them. We are also working constantly now to start forming that same kind of partnership with the UA and the IBEW, just because we feel like those three trades are really important to the future of our industry.
And manpower is so important because we heard from Dr. Basu earlier, and manpower is going to be a pressure on the entire industry, both on the contractor side and on the labor side, because there's just not enough people for the jobs, and especially as these mega projects continue to grow, we're going to need every person that we can get and every skilled person we can get, and getting them feet in the door that early at that stage is just going to be a huge benefit for everybody.
Yeah. And tell them about what it does with our company and your company.
As far as
what it does for your employees.
Oh, that was one of the most incredible things. Is we asked. Actually, we told people we were going to go do this. They came out of the woodwork. I want to be involved, from craft labor and people who and so Jana would actually, say, would you teach this class on the toolbox, or would you teach this class on welding? And so they'd come in, and there's a class, that they would actually teach that, and they'd form the curriculum and put that in the playbook. But the enthusiasm was over the top, and then just the people in the company realizing, like, wow, I mean, we're making a difference.
Yeah.
You're watching kids transform. We have parents that would come up afterwards and say, thank you for all the volunteers and what they've done, and helping their kids find what their future looks like.
Yeah, and I found the office employees, like the project managers, the engineers, the purchasing people that donate and volunteer their time, they end up falling in love with it. I had one purchasing lady who The second year we had camp, she was there, and she said she didn't think she was qualified to volunteer. So this past summer, she got encouraged by my son, who actually works at the camp and at the company, and said, "Come on, you can do it." So she volunteered. She called me up the next day and said, "Angie, this was the best day I've ever had in my career because I had so much fun watching these kids." So it's really great for the companies that run the camps, because it's really great because that next generation of employees that are working for them want to give back, and they see the kids and the excitement in the kids' eyes.
There's a generation coming up through our industry right now. They're actually watching for the companies who do that, who engage in the communities, who are making a difference in the communities, and that's actually, they want to come to work for people, companies like that. So it's a win-win all the way around in my book.
I agree.
Yeah.
Speaking of the future, what does 2024 have in store for the Heavy Metal Summer Experience?
Well, we've been taking applications from both the returning camps. We had 21 camps last year, and all 21 say they want to return. So that's quite a score. But the interest I have from so many more, I can't believe that we're not going to get to at least 50 locations, and including across the United States, and I would bet we go to 3 to 4 more in Canada. So, I mean, I'm excited. That probably means somewhere between 600 and 800 kids. And it's a little overwhelming, but it's very exciting. So it's going to be great, because the more and then I find that our success of a camp doing it and wanting to do it again means the following year we'll start with maybe 50. So wow, where will we go from there? So
yeah.
No,
it's one of those where when kids come into a contractor's shop and they actually see what they can work in. I mean, they'll see the shop, the welding, the duct work, whatever that particular company is focusing on. I mean, tab, they're even doing tab. They're showing them all the different experiences they can have in our industry. And I think once they see that, it's like, oh, okay. I mean, they can start imagining themselves in that, working in that environment. And part of what we tell the kids, go back and tell your friends. Go back and tell your friends that I just found this really cool industry to go work in, and they pay well. And I don't know why, with college debt. And so I think it's, to Angie's comment, it's going to start to snowball, or it is. It's not starting. It is snowballing.
It's an avalanche right now. Yeah. So what's exciting is some of our other partners are seeing that too, though. Stanley Black & Decker, who is the mother company of DeWalt, they actually have put aside for 3 years a $25 million grant for the trades to help get people into the trades. And our first year, they gave us a really nice grant. And then last year, they gave us a nice grant, but it wasn't quite as big as the first year, which was a little disappointing, because we were like, oh, we need more. Well, just here at this convention, at the end of a panel, I was handed a $40,000 check from DeWalt that said, this is to enhance your workforce development work that you're doing with heavy metal. So the partners are starting to see it. I mean, our sponsors and our helpers are important to us, because they see that if we don't continue to get kids in the trade, then they're not going to have something to sell tools to. So,
talk about a commitment to the future. I mean, that put an exclamation point on it.
Yeah, and actually, Stanley Black & Decker just extended 3 more years to that grant program. So they put some more money aside for that. So we're really excited about that. They're helping a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think excitement is the operative word when it comes to that, because it sounds like the sky's the limit almost.
I still can't believe we are growing so fast and it's gone this well. I mean, it was just a little idea. It planned to be in our backyard, basically with our neighbors in our backyard, and it's really taken off. We're also really focused on underserved areas, minorities, and women. And we're running right now over 50% minorities in our camps, and we're running about 25 to 30% women on our camps. So we're trying to get into the areas of the untapped people that aren't in our industry, because we need a lot of people. So I hope it continues to work. We're really excited because we're going to get into some bigger cities next year. We think we're going to get in Pittsburgh and Chicago, and we've got one in Dallas.
As this avalanches, as this snowballs, I think we're going to need to be able to, not every contractor who hosts one of these is going to be able to take every kid that comes through. So I think we want to be looking for ways to find opportunities for the kids to get into our industry. Use their heavy metal summer experience as a certificate, as a notch up over maybe somebody trying to get into material handling or helper or whatever the different classes of entry level. Let them test drive our industry a little bit.
And we talked about this today, and actually Mike Coleman talked about this today too, but it's important if we continue to work with our labor partners to understand that we do need to get those kids in faster. Even if they can't get in as an apprentice, if it's a slower process, make a pre-apprentice category so that we have somewhere to get them. And then they can try out construction and we can try them out.
Right.
And we can see if they're gonna make it on time every morning and that type of thing. But we can't, we don't wanna tell them, go through our camp and have them be super excited and then say, okay, well, it's probably about 12 months before you're gonna get in. Yeah. That's just not gonna work. So we will wanna continue to work with our partners on labor and see if we can smooth that out a bit.
Well, here's hoping, because this, I mean, it's been, for lack of a better word, gangbusters in the first 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Angie, Rick, thank you so much for taking the time. And this, I mean, I've been to 2 camps, hopefully get to go to more. It's just, and see in 2024 how much we've grown. Guys, thank you so much for everything. This talk has been awesome, and what you're doing with heavy metal is just even more awesome. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much to SMACNA
thanks
too.
Thanks for telling our story.